Tonight's NBA TV pregame show is presented by Autotrader.com. You are looking at the big ticket. Kevin Garnett. His 24 points and 16 rebounds and 6 assists per game have been very instrumental in leading the Celtics to a 4-0 record to start the season. Tonight, the C's are in New Jersey taking on the Nets. Hello, everybody. Come on inside and welcome to the Autotrader.com pregame show. I'm Andre Aldridge along with Frank Isola, getting you set for the tip from the Izod Center in just a few minutes, where the Nets play host to the undefeated Celtics, the 4-0 Celtics. The Celtics, Frank Isola, who won 3 of their 4 games by 20 or more points. The champion C's from 1987-88. They didn't win 3 of their first 4 by 17 or less. Are we getting too excited too early for this team?
I don't think so. Believe the hype. You know, they're getting all the magazine covers, all the attention. They're living up to it. They're the only undefeated team in the league. What I like about Boston, they're making the commitment to the defensive end. Both the Nets and Boston are doing that. They're both in the top 7 defensively. And I think it all starts with Kevin Garnett. He's a guy in the middle. He's the leader on defense, and I think his career has been revitalized by that trade to Boston. Same thing with Ray Allen.
Okay, for the Nets, meanwhile, aside from the 37-point loss at home to Toronto that they'd like for all of us to forget, they're trying to forget about, well, they've won 3 in a row. They've held each opponent to 88 points or less, and they're feeling pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, and after they beat Washington the other night, they were getting blown out in the first half of that game. Lawrence Frank made an adjustment, put Jamal McGlure in the game. He really helped them. Antoine Wright helped them. Boki Nakbar. I think the Nets are using their bench a little bit more. I think last season, guys being in and out of the lineup actually helped them in the long run, because Nakbar has played very well, Antoine Wright as well. And I think the Nets are getting back to being a defensive team. And when they went to the finals back-to-back years, it was because of defense. 2 veteran ball clubs. So does the home court in New Jersey mean anything in this particular ball game tonight? I don't think it does. They've really never had a great home court advantage, but it's a great matchup because we're talking about the class of the Atlantic Division. We know that the Raptors could be there. Who knows if the Knicks can get things turned around? They can be in the mix as well. But these, to me, are clearly the 2 best teams. They have the best players. They have the guys that have done it before. And I think Jason Kidd, he likes his team that he's playing. He says it's the best Nets team that he's had. And then Kevin Garnett with a chance to play with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. He can taste the NBA Finals. I think he knows that this is his best shot.
All right. Way to get those Knicks in the conversation, who you cover on a daily basis, and all those chat boards that say you never say anything positive about them.
Love the Knicks.
All right. We'll send that tape out on a loop. Frank and I need to step aside for a brief timeout. As we go to break, though, take a look at Jason Kidd, who's 10.2 assists per game, ranked 2nd in the NBA. Hey, folks, the Autotrader.com pregame show rolls on right after this.
The NBA on NBA TV is brought to you by T-Mobile, official sponsor of the NBA, and by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO.
From Green Team West to the Green Team, Walter Ray Allen is fitting quite nicely for the 4-0 Celtics, hoping to help them improve to 5-0 tonight, right here on NBA TV against the Nets. Folks, as we welcome you back to the Autotrader.com pregame show here on NBA TV, getting you set for Boston and New Jersey from the Izod Center. And for more on the contest, let's send it out to Marv Albert and Jim Spanarkel.
Thank you, Andre. As you look at the Izod Center in the New Jersey Meadowlands, we're getting ready for the New Jersey Nets and the Boston Celtics. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert along with Jim Spanarkel. And Jim, this a matchup of 2 of the hottest teams in the NBA. Celtics at 4-0, the Nets at 4 up and 1 down, and a matchup of that heralded Celtic Big Three and the Nets Big Three.
Well, when you look at the Nets, Marv, obviously with Jason Kidd, Richard Jefferson, Vince Carter, they're 3 guys who play that perimeter game, looking to get up and down the floor. The Nets and Lawrence Frank, the coach of the New Jersey Nets, very happy so far with the way the defense has been led by those 3 guys, and it's been contagious with the passing all the way down to the depth on the bench.
And you take a look at that Celtic record. 3 of the 4 wins have been by virtue of blowouts. They are shooting dazzling numbers, 61% last night in the win over Atlanta, 65% the other night, and they have just been spectacular.
They have been, and it's been seamless almost when you think of Kevin Garnett coming in and Ray Allen coming in, and then you have Paul Pierce, who's been with the Celtics. So the 3 of those guys complement one another very well. Not 3 guys who are on the perimeter, but 3 guys who bring special skills and unique skills to the team.
And these 2 teams will be seeing a lot of each other. It's one of 2 games within 5 days span. They'll meet up in Boston next Wednesday night. Nets and Celtics here at the Meadowlands. Now let's send it back to Andre.
All right, Marv, Sparky, thank you both very much. Hey, we're looking inside the Izod Center. Frank Isola and I coming back with more talk on the C's and the Nets. Keep it right here as our pregame show continues after this. And we take a look at the starting lineups for Doc Rivers' visiting squad, and Coach Rivers dealing with the loss of his father, and there's a question mark on him being here, but Frank, he did indeed make it to the arena. You said like 6:15
yeah,
or so.
Coach last night's game flew to Chicago to bury his father. Very trying day for Doc Rivers. Did make it to the arena by about 6:15. Did not meet with the media, but Doc Rivers, with a heavy heart, will coach tonight's game.
Okay, you see the backcourt for Ray Allen and Rajon Rondo. Meanwhile, we push on to the home club Nets for Lawrence Frank, Jason Kidd, Vince Carter in the backcourt, Jason Collins, twin in the middle, Richard Jefferson, and Andy Kristich up front. All right, so anything we should look for in particular early on in this contest?
It'll be interesting to see what they do with Garnett, because Kristich, it's going to take him a while to get back, because last season Kristich had the knee injury, was out in December. It's taking him a while. How will he do against Garnett?
All right, we're going to see now. So that'll do it for us now. Frank and I will see you back here at halftime as we send you out to the Izod Center and remind you that tonight's NBA TV pregame show has been brought to you by AutoTrader.com.
We're back at the Izod Center. Let's check out the starting lineups first. For the Nets, up front, Richard Jefferson, Jason Collins, Nate Kristich. At the guards, Jason Kidd and Vince Carter. And here are the Celtics, who have been the talk of the NBA. Paul Pierce up front with Kendrick Perkins and Kevin Garnett. In the backcourt, the second-year man out of Kentucky, Rajon Rondo, and Ray Allen, the head coach of the Celtics in his 4th year as head coach in Boston. Doc Rivers, and our thoughts with Doc and his family. His dad, Grady, passed away earlier this week. Doc attended the funeral earlier today in Chicago and made it back to his team, arriving here about a half hour ago. Made it back via a charter flight. And Lawrence Frank, who has his team off to a record of 4-1, matches the best start in the Nets NBA history.
It's time for Nets basketball presented by Bowers.
The officiating crew, Joe DeRosa, Matt Bolan, and Jack Neese. So we're ready for the Nets and the Celtics. Nets come off the win Thursday night against the Washington Wizards, coming back from that 20-point first-half deficit. That started to take on the look of last week's performance against Toronto, but they were able to turn things around.
It did look like the Toronto game, Marv, you're right, but they did, thank goodness, they turned that around in a hurry in the second quarter.
And last night in Boston, Celtics clobbered Atlanta 106-83 as they shot 61%. Nets control the tip. And Kidd tried to slip it to Collins, who was deflected. Off the fake, the runner by Allen.
Boy, what a fake indeed. I mean, in terms of starting it off very smooth, that's one of the things about Ray Allen. He is so smooth with the basketball. The head fake that trip. Out of Pierce and Garnett, you forget about him comparatively to the other two.
Whoa. Jefferson draws the foul. So Jefferson fouled in the act. Foul on Kendrick Perkins, and Richard Jefferson to the line, where he has been on fire. 46 of 47 on the season. They changed that foul to Paul Pierce rather than Kendrick Perkins. Jefferson averaging 25.6 per game. That is 5th in the NBA. And the other night, Jim scores 25 points on only 13 shots. That's the beauty of his game.
And the beauty of getting to the free throw line, Marv, is the Nets pick up a little bit, kind of slow the Celtics down, force them to get into a little slower offensive set at the half court. But Jefferson getting to the free throw line has been the difference for him.
This is a Celtic team that last year was horrendous. 24 wins, 24 and 58. Worst record in the Eastern Conference. Only Memphis was worse. Here's Garnett on a fadeaway, and it carried over the glass and the ball back to the Nets.
Nets started out with the switch. We get a chance to talk to Lawrence Frank before the game, and he said you may see a little full court action to slow the Celtics down, to throw some tricks at him. That time they came back and went into his zone, which slowed them.
Vince Carter on the reverse, beautifully led by Jason Kidd.
I'm not so sure the Celtics were even looking at the ball, never mind Vince Carter along the baseline.
I like the statement from Richard Jefferson the other night after Vince did show some signs in the game against Washington. He congratulated Vince on joining us for the 2007-2008 season. It was Carter's best offensive game. That's a jump ball as Carter ties up Garnett.
You know, you see Vince Carter, all of a sudden the ball's in the air and he figures, well, I might as well jump and go get it. And here comes that jump ball, the flick out. Carter gets good position. Garnett had his hands on the basketball with Carter that time. That's why it was not an over the top.
Jack Neese doing the honors, and the tip is controlled by the Celtics. Perkins, played by Kristich. Rondo, Nets will let him take that shot all night. Rajon Rondo, who is a good penetrator, good passer, but not noted for his outside shooting.
He's also pretty good at the defensive end, sliding into the passing lanes and anticipating also. There you go, right there.
Jim right on it here, anticipating the steal.
Was that a tape?
Jefferson to the fadeaway. And a nice box out by Perkins. Kendrick Perkins in his 5th NBA season. Originally a first-round pick of Memphis. Draft rights traded to the Celtics. Pierce gives it up, and Rondo again from the outside. Rebounded by Carter. Carter on the back tap. Allen on it for Boston. Stop the ball, says Lawrence Frank, and that is a blocking foul. Jefferson trying to pick up the charge.
He tried to slide over, no argument from Lawrence Frank, because he just was not quick enough to get in front of Ray Allen's burst to the basket. Nice little delay move by Ray Allen just then. Although Jefferson is not matched up with Allen, he was that trip. Nice matchups across the board here when you think of Carter and Allen. You get Pierce and Jefferson going at one another.
Ray Allen, one of the NBA's great pure shooters. One of the premier free throw shooters at 90% from the season a year ago. 4th in the league. He's back from an injury hit year in Seattle. Had surgery on both ankles last April. Able to knock down both free throws. 6-4 Celtics. We're just getting started.
Rondo got a hand on that ball just then with Jason Kidd. So obviously he's going to pester Jason Kidd as much as he can in the backcourt that trip and all the way into the front court.
You calling Rajon a pest?
Once in a while. A couple of guys in the truck are pest also to us.
That's another story.
Starting early.
Yeah, that's a long story. And Rondo again. Boy, he's, as they say in the schoolyards, pestiferous.
Very nice. Can you spell that?
No. They double up on Carter, and it's picked off by Pierce. Pierce putting the move on Kidd. Kidd got a piece of it, rebounded by Kristich, looking for help. Jefferson met by Garnett. Here's Kidd for 3. Yes. Now they say it's a 2. He had a foot on the line.
Good opportunities. That's what we'll see with Jason Kidd. I think he's going to try to keep Rondo busy down at the offensive end if he can. Good work here by the Nets defensively, helping one another out.
Carter knocked it aside. You saw Collins coming over to help. 5 on the shot clock. Allen will put it in play. Garnett at the high post. Down to 2 on the 24. Has to fling it. And nearly got the roll. And then the tip by Allen carried slightly off.
Just the fact that Garnett can get that shot off with his size and length, that's usually a guard that's doing that.
Kidd, he thought he was fouled and got the whistle. He was looking for the outside official, Joe DeRosa, who was right behind Kidd, but the call came from underneath from Jack Neese.
Yeah, I think Jack just had a better view of it from his angle. DeRosa from behind, I don't think could see kind of through Jason Kidd on that play.
Foul committed by Rondo. Jason Kidd the other night against Washington, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, shot just 2 of 9, hit that jumper a moment ago, and the Nets have taken an 8-6 lead. Celtics tonight are without Brian Scalabrine and James Posey, 2 key members off the bench. Scalabrine, the former Net, suffered a concussion in the game last night. Posey sat out last night against Atlanta with lower back spasms. Shot clock down to 3. Pierce with the nice fake. It's a shot clock violation, and once again, an excellent defensive sequence by the Nets.
Doc Rivers' team, the Celtics, is trying to really use both sides of the court on that particular possession, but as you just touched on, Marv, terrific defense for long periods of time by the Nets just then.
Carter played by Allen, goes to the fade and hits.
Vince Carter hits that shot. He's a tough out. I mean, you want him shooting that because he's falling away. It's a difficult shot, and you don't want Vince going to the basket if you're the Celtics.
Carter still playing with that thumb injury on the shooting hand. They double up on Garnett.
Great passer out of the post.
Here's Allen for 3.
Well, when you can put Garnett on your right blocks, Marv, and then turn it over to the left side with Pierce and Ray Allen, boy, you have a nice combination there.
Nets by a point. They double on Jefferson. Collins over, sets the screen. And that pass going through the legs of Christian, but deflected out by Boston. So the Nets have 4 on the 24. Nets at 4-1 on the season. They've won 3 of 4 here at home. Kristich, Perkins, able to handle the rebound. Nets 10, Celtics 9. Garnett. And draws the foul.
Well, one of the things that Garnett has a tendency to do, and he's not bad at it, drifting away from the basket, 15, 17 feet away, and still being able to score. But with his talent level, I'm going to have to believe the Celtics, as they figure this thing out more and more as the season progresses, they're going to try to, go almost like a 70-30% ratio with Garnett, get him the ball 70% down deep and 30% let him drift a little bit.
Kevin Garnett in his 13th NBA season, 10-time All-Star. As a member of the T-Wolves, MVP back in 2003-2004. The only question about Garnett over the years has been his scoring in crunch time. That has always been questioned. But what a pickup for the Boston Celtics.
And a little bit of that pressure off him, though, this year, with Allen and Paul Pierce in particular, the guy who can handle.
Here's Jefferson, yes. No question, Garnett does have the surrounding parts here. Garnett got great position on Collins.
He sure did, and traditionally the big guy would take that and drop step right to the basket. He got it sealed a little bit, but his ability to drift a little bit away from the basket and still finish off the play, makes him a Hall of Famer.
And Carter off to the fast start. 3 of 4, 6 points, Nets by 1. Allen passed on the shot. Pierce for 3. Rebounded by Kidd. He launches to Jefferson.
Wow.
Rondo got back, but Jefferson took it away.
Boy, what a terrific fast break by the Nets. I mean, that's just 2 guys. Jefferson understanding Kidd having the basketball, and it's time to race. But a beautiful play by Jefferson just then to flick the ball over Rondo's head as he went flying by him.
And there's no question the Nets feel that they can race down court on the Celtics. We've seen it a couple of times. Garnett. Oh, it's tipped home by the combination of Kristich and Jefferson, as they say in soccer, an own goal.
So who are we going to give that to? You're closer than I am. We'll give that to you.
Oh, you're giving me the field goal. I see. Okay. Well, the Celtics will take it. Kendrick Perkins gets credit for it. And Carter is fouled by Pierce. And Kristich still shaking his head. Here's another.
Take a look at this one. Where's Perkins? I don't see him anywhere. Jefferson, watch this play. A little tip ahead and the finish. A beautiful play. Nice look, too, by Jason Kidd.
We understand it's the New Jersey Nets versus the Boston Celtics, and for us to be successful, we need guys like, Boki Nakbar, Antoine Wright, Jamal, Curley. We need our entire team in order to be successful. This is not a, Jay Kidd, Richard Jefferson, Vince Carter show. This is New Jersey Nets versus the Celtics. Our big three could outplay their big three, and we could still lose the game, and vice versa.
Although the question with the Celtics, not only for tonight with two bench guys out in Scalabrine and Posey, as we mentioned a couple minutes ago, but do they have enough off the bench? That remains to be seen. Eddie House, former Net, had a big game last night against the Hawks, but you're looking at House and Posey and Scalabrine and Tony Allen, Scott Pilot, big baby Glenn Davis, who we'll probably see later on.
On paper, I'm not sure in terms of whether they have enough. If the question really is, do they have enough to win the East? Possibly to get through the real good teams in the West with this lineup. As Jefferson said, you need the depth.
But look where they're coming from. 24 wins last season, so whatever they do will be well appreciated. Jefferson was fouled. Just check as to why Kendrick Perkins, for all you Kendrick Perkins fans out there, why he received credit for that field goal. According to referee Jack Neese, he was the closest to that tip. Kristich inadvertently knocked it home. Tony Allen just came on, was called for the foul on Jefferson. And here's another look at it, Jim.
Marv will take a look at it. I guess that's him right there.
Closest to, that's it. Jack is right on it. Wow. I never doubted it. You were the one questioning the whole time out, which was upsetting people along press row.
Those are the types of hoops I was looking for.
Yes. Right.
I'd raise my hand going back.
And that'd be a frequent occurrence of someone else tipping it. Nets up by 3. Here's Allen for 3. What a quick release.
Terrific shooter, and the beauty of the three, their big three, is once again Garnett, the tall guy, Allen, the shooter, Pierce, the kind of multi-talented. So it really helps them to throw different dimensions at different teams.
Antoine Wright, who's played very well, getting set to come on. The shot by Kidd. And the Nets shooting well here at the start. They've connected on 7 of the first 10. Allen with a series of crossovers. He's feeling it.
And I love the way he separates, Marv. One of those guys who just understands how to use the corners on the floor. His baseline moves are probably as good as any guard in the NBA.
12 points for Allen. He's hit 4 of 6 from the field. Jefferson digging. Jefferson challenged Garnett.
Boy, and putting it on the floor, but Jefferson, toning up during the offseason, I think, Marv. That upper body appears to be just a touch stronger without putting on weight across the top of his body. And boy, does he been using it early on to really challenge.
10 points for Jefferson. Nets 22, Celtics 20. Nets have hit their last 5 shots. Here's Garnett. And the Celtics picking it up at the offensive end.
Once again, that time Ray Allen playing point guard and setting Garnett up with Carter trying to defend him.
Just under 3 left in the first quarter. Foul is called. It's on defensive 3-second call on Perkins.
Now you take a look at Richard Jefferson trying to get that shoulder around, and take a look at Kevin Garnett getting a little intimate with him.
Yes. Reminder, you can get discounted tickets to see the Nets take on the NBA's best with the Nets Pick 7 and Pick 10 plans. Just select any 7 or 10 games and save. Get your Pick 7 and Pick 10 plans online at njnets.com or call the Nets Vonage hotline at 1-800-7-NJ-NETS. Marv Albert with Jim Spanarkel on the S Network and on NBA TV. Nets and Celtics meeting for the first time this season. The game tied at 22 with both clubs shooting well. Boston got off slowly, but they've come on. They're 8 of 16 from the field. They've hit their last 4. The Nets 8 of 11. They've made their last 5. Boston with a record of 4-0. Last 2 games, they've shot 65% and 61. The other night, at home, they beat Denver by 26 points and hit 49 of 75 from the field. 65%, their best field goal percentage since back in 1993 in a game at Detroit.
Are you working that one?
No. Lead pass intended for McGlure just came on. Broke it up. Rondo is on it. Nice play by Rondo, avoiding the possibility of a travel.
Yeah, you know what was interesting with that too, Marv? I think he anticipated another net diving for that ball too, so he ends up diving for it and finds himself all alone on the floor.
Jamal McGlure now defending on Kevin Garnett. A wide open shot for the red-hot Ray Allen. Antoine Wright, Jamal McGlure checked in for the Nets. Here's Carter. Yes, the best touch we've seen all season from Vince Carter taking place here in the first quarter.
And as we've seen with Jefferson's body language, Vince Carter is really arriving with his body language also tonight.
Here's Tony Allen. That's an air ball. So the Nets get it back, and now the former net, Eddie House, will come on. Eddie spent last season with the Nets, providing instant offense, and hearing boos from this crowd because he was a free agent. Nets did want to re-sign him, and had decided to sign with the Celtics.
Not a friendly house here.
No. Here's Carter. Whoa. Flips it back out. Jefferson goes right to the bucket.
Oh, that was unfair for Richard Jefferson. No one on the Celtics really were prepared defensively because they all tried to track Vince Carter.
27-22 Nets. Good hands by Carter. And his crowd responding to the Nets' effort in this opening quarter.
Or I've watched the way all the Celtics are in here now, and look at Jefferson. He sees the opening, and nobody fills it up for him. Watch the way this ball just kicks out to him, and where is everybody? They're not at home.
Crowd reacting as Richard Jefferson takes a seat. He'll get a rest, leaves with 13 points on 4 of 6 shooting. Mosjan Nakbar has come on. Shot clock is down to 5. Allen down to 2. And House gets it away. Just did get it off. That's a 2-pointer. He had a foot on the line, but the net defense giving the Celtics a lot of problems here in the first quarter. Boston having difficulty getting shots off. Carter, pretty pass. Wright cannot finish. Rebounded by Garnett. Kevin Garnett leads the NBA, averaging better than 16 rebounds per game. Allen came up short. Beautiful pass from Rondo, but Allen could not finish.
Sure was. Rondo really gets up and down the floor in a hurry, so if they ever get the breakouts, he can get it down there and get it to people at the same time.
Errol Armstrong replacing Jason Kidd. He's at the point, and an offensive foul as Nakbar ran into Ray Allen. Just under a half minute remaining in this first quarter, and the Nets up 27-24.
One of the things to look at, if you take a look at the numbers, turnovers only 1 so far for Boston, but with Eddie House on the floor right now for the Celtics, he gets so many free looks, so Armstrong really has to stay with him and not try to help out.
Garnett. He's fouled by McGlure. Strong move by Garnett going baseline. And Kevin Garnett, a solid free throw shooter, will have 2, 84% last season for the big ticket. And Jim, this guy's been so consistent over the years. He's averaged at least 20 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists for 9 straight years. Only Larry Bird and Wilt Chamberlain had as many as 6 straight seasons with those kind of numbers.
And part of his results, obviously, is the talent level that he has, Mark. But the other thing that, even when you, and I'm sure you did the same thing, you speak to people at Minnesota over the years and a couple of people with Boston, they say he's obviously talent, but his energy level and his enthusiasm and love for the game translates to success for him, and it's contagious for his teammates. So You know, you just watch him and he just loves to play basketball.
And his teammates have just a great feel for Kevin Garnett wherever he's been in Minnesota, as their roster has shifted. They've always loved him. The same here thus far in Boston. Carter fired one up as time runs out in this first quarter. After one, here at the Izod Center, it's the Nets 27 and the Celtics 26. You're watching Nets basketball on Yes. It is time for the J&R Music and Computer World upcoming schedule. And looking ahead to Monday night, the Nets will face Chris Paul and the New Orleans Hornets right there. Kind of a shaky circle orchestrated by Jim. That completes the 4-game homestand. And then it's on to Boston, back home for, what is that? Oh, it's, I see, a box. Very nice.
What, are you going to make fun of my circle? So
8 of the first 10 at home, followed by the 4-game West Coast trip for the Nets. Second quarter is underway. They're going with the straight line approach. Right with the rebound on the Garnett miss. Nets 10 of 15 shooting in the first quarter. Celtics 9 for 20. How about the Big Six, scoring 47 of the 53 total points in the first quarter. Knockbar off, rebounded by Allen. Allen with the lead, broken up by Wright. Got a hand on it, look out, collision. Carter shaken up. He and Tony Allen came together, and a foul. It's on Tony Allen of the Celtics.
good hands there by Wright, too, defensively. That's what the Nets are looking to do as they get back with the Celtics coming at them quickly. You have to be ready to see the ball and get a hand on it to slow them down.
And that's the group on the floor for the Nets. Darrell Armstrong works the point and fires it up. Rebounded by Rondo. Met by Wright, goes around, and what a move. We talked about his penetration ability, and you saw it right there.
Absolutely. You may want to try to get him going left a little bit. A right-handed player who's very quick and confident going to his right.
Celtics take a 1-point lead. Wright played by Rondo. McGlure, the shot clock running down, way off. Lawrence Frank buying some time with this unit out there. Allen is fouled by Carter. They basically have 2 scorers on the floor and then maybe a third the way Antoine Wright has been playing, but it's basically Carter and Knockbar.
Right. Yeah, and you think about it, that's not really, you don't want to, another shot clock was going down with McGlure against Kevin Garnett down on the blocks, but that's not the matchup you're really looking for.
Great scene a moment ago. Doc Rivers in front of the Celtic bench, trying to yell instructions to his players, and a young woman holding a baby and a box of popcorn just walked in front of him. and said, "Excuse me." Doc smiled. Open shot for Wright. Yes, that's a 3 for Antoine Wright. The Nets lead by 1.
He still continues to deliver. The thing about him is that, once again, Marv, how long can he continue to play confident basketball? The hope is that it's not a 4 or 5 game thing, that he just can play off this ride.
Here's Allen to the fade. Carter pulls it down. Knockbar taking to the rim, and he was expecting contact from Garnett, and he got the contact. He was pushed.
That was one of those plays with Knockbar when he got the basketball. Watch the intent right now to come this way and start to challenge somebody right there. And you're right, I think he was, Marv, looking for more contact, but it went nowhere with him because they stepped away.
And a technical foul called on Garnett, was upset about the call. It was a late whistle because he was expecting more excessive contact, and then the whistle finally came. Armstrong will shoot the technical.
Somebody better still get in Kevin Garnett's way. I mean, he's still fired up Looking at Jack Knees again.
And now Nakbar to the line to shoot the free throws. Nakbar had a breakout game the other night after struggling against the Wizards, 4 for 5. 10 points in one stretch, including back-to-back threes. And now here's Paul Pierce making his return. Rajon Rondo will sit down. So the Celtics will steal time without a true point guard on the floor. They have Eddie House and Ray Allen, along with Paul Pierce, Tony Allen, and Kevin Garnett. And House handling the ball. And they'll put pressure on House. Nets by 3. Here's the double on Garnett. Shot clock to 5. House got it down low, but Allen came from out of bounds.
That's a great example, though, of Kevin Garnett's ability to pass out of the post. With his length and his size, he looks just over everybody and zipped it right across.
So the basket does not count on the turnover. Carter posts on Tony Allen. Yes, he has been sizzling in this first half. 7-0 run for the Nets. Carter 5 of 7, 10 points.
And he's making quick moves also, Marv. The ball isn't just sitting in his hands. It's a real dedication to doing something quickly with it.
A series of moves by Garnett to get into excellent position.
I don't know what you say about that. I mean, he's just so consistent with it. And to defend it, McGloire just has his hands full. You wonder why they're not just going to get it down there more frequently to him on the blocks.
10 points for Garnett. Here's Carter. And the foul is called as a hold on McGloire. That's the second on Jamal McGloire, and we'll take a break. All but 2 NBA franchises. The Nets are one. Jason, of course, spent the early portion of his career as a member of the Mavericks and the Suns. Name the other. Jason Kidd with a triple-double against all but 2 NBA franchises. The Nets are one of those 2. Name the other. Here are the choices: Suns, Mavericks, Celtics, and Bobcats. And you can text your vote to 58772 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. And Jim, as you are well aware and have pointed this out to me on many an occasion, standard text messaging rates do apply. And there is Jason, who played the first 10 minutes, hit both of his shots, 6 points in all, 4 assists.
And biding a little bit of time. Lawrence Frank keeping him on the bench, but you'll probably see him in a minute and a half or so.
House played by Armstrong. Garnett has got all the way. Here's House on a quick release for 3.
And that's exactly why Eddie House gets himself open, because he's quick to a spot, and Kevin Garnett is just as fast as finding him. And that time Armstrong bit to help out Garnett.
Rookie out of LSU, Glenn Big Baby Davis on the floor for the first time tonight. Jefferson is back and off on that shot.
A rare forced shot by Richard Jefferson this season. Never mind one game, but that was not really in tune for him.
Pierce getting position. Paul Pierce has given the Celtics a 36-34 lead, and we will see Jason Kidd in a moment as he heads to the scorer's table. Nakbar wide open for 3. And Garnett rebounds. House protecting the dribble. Pierce played by Wright, and he is fouled. So that's the first on Wright. 13th foul on the Nets as Kidd comes on for Armstrong. And Collins is back. He'll replace McGloire.
Marv, I know it's early on, but there's a reason the Celtics are scoring at 106 a game. I mean, they're just relentless with the opportunities they have. When you think about now, they isolate Pierce just then 15 feet away. They can post him up, put him on the blocks if they want. They can put Garnett on the blocks. They can slide people around. I mean, Doc Rivers, it's kind of like Baskin Robbins almost. He's got so many different flavors that. How'd you like that one, huh?
That's sad.
It's sad. Different flavor every night.
I got it. Yep.
You like ice cream?
Here's Pierce for three. Comes to Allen, and he pops it. 8-0 run by the Celtics, and they now lead by 3. Nice pass. Jefferson tried to hit the reverse. House's pass broken up by Wright behind the back. Flipped by Kidd, saved by Jefferson. Got it to Wright. And now Pierce switches off to Kidd. Oh, Wright wide open.
A pretty interesting sequence, to say the least, just then.
Nets down by a point. Collins defending on Garnett, able to close the baseline, but Garnett goes to the jumper. And a foul.
Interesting enough, though, Collins will be able to keep the body against Garnett, but he's long enough to go find him up top and go over him. But there's the behind-the-back pass. Jefferson tracks it down. And then a little cut to the basket for Antoine Wright. Celtics that time, I mean, never got organized. It was one of those scrambled type plays. It was kind of like a Tutti Frutti flavor almost, like strawberry cheesecake.
Why did I think you were going to come back to this? First NBA free throw for Glenn Big Baby Davis, who was fouled by Hoshjan Nakbar, second-round draft pick. His weight always a factor. He was around 310, 320 in his college days at LSU. The Celtics say he's about 285 now. He is skilled, excellent passer, has a soft touch.
And surprisingly also, Marv, pretty soft on his feet, too. He gets some pretty good position. The preseason game against the Nets this year, he played very well on this floor.
Kidd, yes, that's a 2. He had a foot on the line, so Jason Kidd has hit his first 3 shots. Celtics by a point. Marv Albert, Jim Spanarkel were the Izod center. That was an intended pass that went too far from Perkins. Nakbar setting his feet and hits. Hoshjan Nakbar from downtown.
It's a different look, the bench, or when they have bench players on the floor. If Nakbar is hitting those shots down, it opens up the middle of the floor even more.
Nets with a 2-point lead. Pierce gets into the lane. Yes, and the foul.
Terrific. He's just a flat-out terrific basketball player. Just understands that he doesn't have to take the long shot because he is so talented at breaking people down. Little space to the side here. Nakbar, great release and extension. And you look at Pierce going to work, finishing it off, knocking bodies down, and completing the shot.
This Monday, see the Nets and the Hornets, and save with this 2-for-1 ticket offer that starts at just $36 with the Nets McDonald's plans. You'll get 2 tickets for the price of 1. You can get yours today online at njnets.com or call the Nets at 1-800-3-GO-NETS. 1-800-3-GO-NETS. Hornets off to a good start. Record of 4-2, led by their outstanding point guard, Chris Paul. That'll be Monday night here at the Izod Center. Boston Celtics 4-0 here at the start of the season. 3 of the 4 have been blowouts. This is the first of a 2-game road trip. They'll be in Indiana Tuesday night, then back home for the Nets on Wednesday. And the buzz has returned to New England thanks to those 2 major deals pulled off by Danny Ainge, acquiring Ray Allen from Seattle on draft night, Kevin Garnett from Minnesota 5 weeks later. Jim, it's like the Celtics are relevant once again.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a great year or so up in Boston, with the Red Sox, and Boston College is doing well, New England Patriots, and Bruins are not quite there yet.
I didn't realize you follow the NHL that closely. Here's Nockbar for 3. Pierce is on it.
Yeah, Gump Worsley's having a nice year this year.
Yes, he is. Chuck Rayner's been excellent also. Davis on the follow. And that's a 3. Eddie House, the former Net, has hit 2 from downtown, and Boston leads 45-41. Coming up on 4 minutes to play in the first half. Kidd guarded by House, finding Jefferson, and he draws the foul. That will count. He gets the call on the continuation.
Little look away there by Jason Kidd to set that up. Kidd's trying to post up Eddie House on the blocks, but you'll take a look at House. This is why he's going to have a great year if he stays healthy. He's just wide open over there, and then you come down the other end and look at Richard Jefferson. Well, if he continues to drive and get to the free throw line, which this will be his 6th attempt, the numbers will just be staggering if he can get to the line this often.
Ooh. And that is only his 2nd miss of the season. He's now 50 for 52. That the previous miss in the game against the Hawks earlier in the week. Pierce, rebound Davis.
Marv, we've touched on him. He's a load. I mean, it's one thing to get a body on him, but you almost have to get a body and stop him as best you can, which is not an easy chore.
That's his first field goal. Biggest lead of the night. Boston by 4. Biggest lead for the Celtics. Nockbar turned back. Jefferson fires it up and gets the call. So Jefferson heads back to the line. And the foul on Perkins. Lawrence Frank making changes, has Carter back out there. Malik Allen has come on for the first time. So up front, Kristich with Allen and Jefferson, Carter and Kidd in the backcourt.
Well, that substitution with Allen to bring him in, maybe to just put a little bigger body on Davis to try to keep him off the offensive glass.
Blake Allen goes 6'10", 250. (47-45) Celtics. Davis handling the ball, going at Kristich, and a strip. Got a little too tricky.
He sure did. Getting it across half court was enough, big baby. Get rid of it.
Kidd open for 3. Good box out by Davis. Pierce probing his way. Perkins. Nice move by Kendrick Perkins. Doc Rivers buying some time now for Kevin Garnett, sitting down for the first time of the half. 49-45 Celtics. Allen. Two of the Celtic big 3 remaining on the floor. Ray Allen and Paul Pierce. Pierce is open for 3. And that's too much room for Paul Pierce.
It's difficult to defend, though, Marv. You know, you try to, from a fundamental standpoint, you try to creep in defensively to stop the paint entries and the post-ups. But they have a nice balance of inside play and also outside shooters. Doc Rivers really has the ability to spread these guys out. You take a look at Pierce, who can shoot the ball from long range, especially when nobody's putting a hand in his face.
With the latest offseason speculation around the Yankees, it is time for another season of Yankees Hot Stove. Join Bob Lorenz and a rotating panel of baseball experts as they examine all of the offseason moves around the major leagues. A new season of Yankees Hot Stove. It premieres Thursday night at 6:30 right here Yes. Richard Jefferson off to the fast start. 17 points on 5 of 8 shooting.
Also 7 of 8 from the free throw line. So Richard Jefferson up to his old trick, starting it off with the little jump shot from 17. That looks better. And then here comes a nice one right down the middle to finish things off. None of the Celtics challenging. And once again, continues to push the ball into the middle of the floor towards the basket to make things happen. So a terrific start. 17 big points early on here.
However, the Celtics with a good run in the second quarter, led by Paul Pierce, who has all 9 of his points in the second quarter. And Boston up now 52-45 with 2.5 to play in the first half. Pressure here by the Celtics. Allen gets it into Kidd. Nets coming off the win Thursday night here at home against the Wizards. They've won 3 of 4 here at the Izod Center. Kidd trying to protect it, and it's last touch by Garnett. So Garnett is back on the floor. He's up front with Perkins and Pierce. House and Allen at the guards. The official Joe DeRosa over at the scorer's table, conferring on the shot clock. The Nets have a new 24. Jefferson using the pick. Rebounded by Allen. Jefferson, and he is fouled. Richard Jefferson off that lead pass, drawing the foul, and he heads back to the line. And the foul again on Perkins.
2 shots there where you see Jefferson, the life in his body. And watch this now as he comes through the middle of the floor. Once again, Marv, as a player, when you come through and you notice how he threw his body towards the rim and at the defenders, first thing you want to do is get the foul. And if you can finish it off, that's fine, because he didn't have a clear path to try to dunk that one.
So Richard now 8 of 9 from the line, and on the season, an incredible 54 of 56. (52-47) Boston. Pierce puts the move on Kristich. And the foul is on Kristich, who tried to set his feet to draw the charge, but Pierce too quick. And for Kristich, it is his second.
It's a good thought. You see the lateral or lack of lateral movement to get in front of Pierce. I mean, it's really not a fair comparison there. What you're trying to do, and Pierce understood it, you neutralize the size advantage the further out on the floor you are. So quick move by Pierce there. And he's a scorer with a scorer's mentality. He knows opportunities when he sees them very quickly.
Both teams are over the foul limit. Eddie House sitting down, hit a couple of threes. Paul Pierce, 5-time All-Star, missed 35 games last year. Celtics were 4-31 of that stretch. Kristich not able to pick up that loose ball, and Boston maintains possession. Ain't Kristich still struggling as he makes it back from the knee surgery. Shot clock to 6. Rondo, Perkins, nice setup by Rajon Rondo.
Once again, we talk about that big 3, and everybody's going to talk about it, but the big 3, what they do is they have to set the example in terms of getting guys to pass the ball, and it's working.
Here's Kristich getting inside. And for Nadal, his first field goal.
A little better instinctive move just then, though. It's going to take some while to get back to your point a moment ago, Marv, of seeing him in real true game conditions. Watch out. Oh.
Landed in the crowd some 15 rows back, and nice catch, but a foul is called.
Why don't they get to keep the basketball like a baseball game?
I don't think we're ever going to see that. It will have to be a very generous ownership group that allows that. So Ray Allen at the line. 13 points for Allen. This is Tony Allen checking back in. Tony Allen, his 4th year out of Oklahoma State. He's back from surgery, repairing a torn ACL in his left knee. Missed 49 games and had been playing very well when he went down. Coming up on a minute remaining in the first half. Defensive 3 called on the Celtics. So the second time Boston has been called, technical foul, and it will be Richard Jefferson taking the free throw. 57 points for Boston, the most allowed in any half by the Nets this season. They had a very good first quarter defensively, but not the case in the second. Carter spinning and scores! And the foul! He went right at Kendrick Perkins.
And a long way to go for Vince Carter with a couple of dribbles. Surprising, we see the dribbles 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is everybody? The little spin frees him up, but from a defensive standpoint, and there's the reach on the arm. When a guy puts the ball on the floor, Mark, from 17 feet away 4 times, you better have better help than that.
Once again, the Nets not able to complete a three-point play. They're down by 5, final minute, first half. Garnett. Christus tried to draw the foul. Allen got a piece of it, and here comes Kidd. 3 Celtics back. Jefferson with a runner. Rebound Allen. So Malik Allen doing a good job off the boards. Carter for 3. And Perkins able to handle it.
They should sit on it, which they will right now for the last shot. I mean, a fraction of a second differential.
And Doc Rivers trying to get the attention of the official. Matt Boland taking a timeout with 14 seconds to play in this first half. Stay tuned for Heineken at the half. Nancy Newman back in the studio, and she'll take a look around the NBA, including the Phoenix Suns and the Orlando Magic. That's a good matchup. Orlando coming off the win over the Knicks last night at the Garden. We'll talk with Mr. Bill Cartwright, that's assistant. 57-52. Celtics not shooting the way they have in previous games. They lead the NBA in field goal percentage right around 54-55%. They're at 47, but they picked it up. They've been on fire in the second quarter.
They're a team that can pass the ball. They're unselfish. And last night, Marv, I had a chance to watch some of that Knick Magic game, and Dwight Howard putting up a 20-20. Oh boy, did he look good.
A fellow named Patrick Ewing has been working with Dwight. Down to 5, down to 3. Rondo had it knocked aside.
See how quick he is, though, Marv. He got to where he wanted to on the floor with the ball. Kid just had to reach over and strip it, but he is like lightning with it.
2 seconds remaining on the shot clock. 2.7 game clock. Here's Garnett. He gets it away and scores. That will count. They'll review it, but it appears he got it off on time. Good first half. The Celtics with a 59-52 lead.
They will review this, but you're right, Marv. This one is clear. You can see almost 1.2 seconds left on the clock when it releases from his fingertips. So not even in question that particular play by Kevin Garnett.
The High Point men in the first half. Richard Jefferson with 20. And for the Celtics, 14 for Ray Allen. We'll be right back.
Oh, the scene of live game action all season long right here on your home for Hoops NBA TV. Tomorrow night, we're heading to Seattle for the Supersonics and the Detroit Pistons. See young Kevin Durant. You coming here with us tomorrow night, Frank?
I'll be here for that.
Okay, Frank and I will be here. It'll be a fun game for you to watch. All right, real quick, the home team definitely has a chance in the second half.
Yeah, right? They do. They need to play better defense, so especially on the perimeter. They really let down in the second quarter.
All right. He'll be back after the game. I will too. Folks, we want to remind you that tonight's halftime show was presented by T-Mobile. Going to get you back to Marv Albert and Sparky. Jim Spinarco. Enjoy the second half of the game.
Boston Celtics getting the nod of the vote, and that happens to be the correct answer. I think they know what our producer, Frank DeGrace, who is behind all this, is up to. There's always some symmetry. There's always a reason that these questions are being used. However, it's kind of a trick question. Frank is big on chicanery, a gadget player type guy, because He's talking regular season. And that's the answer in terms of regular season. But in the postseason, Kidd actually had 2 more against the Celtics. Now, if you were computing this, I mean, how would you know whether it's a compilation or regular season?
You wouldn't. It's kind of like the hook and ladder of trivia questions,
I mean,
the way I look at it. It's challenging the integrity of it. So
absolutely.
I have a couple of minutes afterwards with Frank tonight, so don't worry.
It's an outrage. Celtics in possession as this second half gets underway. Nice lead pass for Pierce. And the Nets have not been able to stop the Celtics at the offensive end from the second quarter on. Boston has its biggest lead. They gave up 59 to the Celtics in the first half. Most points allowed in any half by the Nets this season. And remember earlier we talked about their improved defensive play. Kristich from way outside. Rebounded by Collins. And he flips it out. Whoops. And Collins able to recover. Yes. Whoops. I believe we see that show up in the box score. Whoops.
There's a new column.
And the foul is called. It is on Perkins. That is his third non-shooting foul. Nets at 4-1, matching the best start in the NBA franchise history of the team. While the Celtics at 4-0, and they have been blowing people out. Jefferson rebounded by Garnett.
Well, if I know you've been doing a lot of broadcasting in your day, feel free to take that whoops line if you want to use it, create it.
I can see where that would fit right in. Garnett rebounded by Kidd. Jefferson taking all the way. Perkins with the rebound.
Good drive there by Jefferson, just not really challenging at the very end of that play.
Perkins, strong move. He got in close, went right at Kristich. Kendrick Perkins has played well. He's hit 4 or 5. He has 8 points. Celtics up by 11. Jefferson for 3.
Nets have to be careful now with the Celtics, the way they started out here the first 2 minutes.
Allen fouled by Kristich. So Ray Allen to the line, and he is a superb free throw shooter at 90% last season. The question about Ray Allen, his health status, has not played an entire 82-game campaign since back in 2000-2001 in Milwaukee. As you see Vince Carter take a shot off the drive by Ray Allen. Celtics up by 13 points. Nets have missed their 4 shot attempts here at the start of the third quarter. Carter gets inside and he is fouled.
I think they also missed a swinging foul by Rondo out front on that drive to the basket right around the free throw line. This is a better result for Vince Carter to get to the line, though.
Foul is on Perkins. He has 4. Second team foul charge to the Celtics. So Carter at the line, and he's missed both his free throws. And here's Glenn Davis, the rookie from LSU, played 6 minutes in the first half and played exceptionally well. He had 4 points, 7 rebounds in 6 minutes.
And he's not a hard guy to find on the floor, but the Nets were having some problems in the first half trying to find him to put a body on him.
Rondo with that hard dribble sets it up. Davis not able to finish. Jefferson, kick ball is called, and it's kicked by Jefferson. So the ball back to the Celtics. Celtics last season 24 and 58. At one point, they lost a franchise record 18 straight. At the time, Jim, Celtic fans were not unhappy. They felt, hey, it's a better chance in terms of the lottery.
Right.
In fact, TV ratings in Boston actually went up because of the losses. They were rooting for the possibility of ball back to the nets of Greg Oden or Kevin Durant. And as it turned out, they were the number 5 pick in the lottery, and the pick was used in the trade for Ray Allen.
So it's worked out well for them, and unfortunately for Oden, the knee problem for him, and Kevin Durant, who I think is going to be special, 3, 4, 5 years down the road in the NBA.
Foul on Allen, that's his first. Well, if this all works out for the Celtics, these were moves out of the playbook of Red Auerbach. How things have turned around, and once again, as Carter rims out, Danny Ainge is gloved in New England. His decisions have been blasted up in Boston around the NBA, but things have made a dramatic turn. Allen is fouled. Let's try to double up along the baseline, and foul on Kristich, who continues to struggle more so at the defensive end. That's 4 on Kristich.
Yeah, and he seems to be limping a touch there. Marv also coming at him, maybe just a knee-on-knee type of hit.
The block from behind by Jefferson. Collins is on it, hands to Jefferson. Here's Kidd trying to push it. Celtics got back. Carter passed on a 3.
Offensive foul, I believe.
Foul, yes.
The tail end of that play, Vince Carter got a little out of control, and here's Kristich going knee on knee down low with Ray Allen. And you take a look, he hobbles off from that play and walks off the floor okay, it appears, for the Nets right now.
Nets have gone 0 for 5 here in the third quarter. Good recovery by Carter after the fake by Rondo, and its last touch by Rondo. Nets also have contributed to their woes with 2 turnovers here in the early moments of the third. They're down by 12. 1 point early on, they led by 5. Got off to the good start at both ends. And Jack Neese with the, looks like a 3-second call. Kind of a slow
delivery on it.
Yes, what was that?
I think the Celtic bench started to give him grief that it was not a defensive 3 seconds.
I thought I was watching slow motion replay. Here's Pierce spinning his way and gets inside. Paul Pierce with 14 points.
They do have a couple of weapons, the Boston Celtics, to deal with.
8-1 advantage for Boston here in the third quarter. And a travel on Jefferson, who's had his problems here in the third.
That's down 14 now, Marv, what they're trying to do, and I think it's smart to get this ball and get it to go to the hoop a little bit more. Lawrence Frank down the other end, though, is the argument there is he thought that Jefferson was bumped into that traveling call, but the Nets got to get it a couple of stops here and get themselves back into this.
Pierce rebounded by McGlure. Jamal McGlure coming on for Nenad Kristich. Nets have had 10 previous possessions, 0 for 5 from the field, and it's been turnover city. Kidd rebounded by Allen.
Nets are going around the perimeter. Where are the Celtics going?
And the block from behind by McGlure. He was able to reach out to stop Garnett. Timeout taken by Lawrence Frank. 6:55 to go in this third quarter, and Boston is taking command. Well, the Nets will be in Boston on Wednesday night following the game against the Hornets on Monday, and then back home for 2 games against the Magic and the Heat. You can get tickets now to see The Nets go up against Dwight Howard and the Orlando Magic next Friday, and Shaquille O'Neal and the Heat a week from tonight. Visit NJNets.com or call the Nets Vonage hotline at 1-800-7-NJ-NETS. And right now, the Nets trying to get something going at the offensive end. They've missed their last 6 shots. They're down by 14. And the shot selection has not been good in the third quarter. Here's Pierce. Rebounded by Jefferson. McGlure now up front with Richard Jefferson and Antoine Wright. Kidd getting it down low. McGlure came up short.
That pass really wasn't for him either, Marv. That was for Richard Jefferson cutting to the basket. Nice luck.
And off the fake, Carter went flying over Rondo. Foul is called on Carter. That is his third. But that's their third team foul. It's a Boston franchise that won 16 NBA titles in a 30-year span. Ball back to the Nets. That was through 1986, but they've made the playoffs only 4 times since 1995. Now with the new Big Three, a lot of excitement up in Beantown. Here's Kidd on the drive, went to the left hand, and he drew the foul. Foul on Davis.
Kidd has been struggling a little bit with the knee problem, also from a knee-on-knee type of hit. Shaking it off. His thighs were a little sore from knee against thigh, so he's been a little hurt with a couple of the legs, but that was a terrific move just then trying to challenge. And a Kidd more than anybody recognizes him. Speaking of important knees, so with Kristich there, I guess it's the heat pack right there that he had in his hand that he had just taken off to keep that knee in the joint as warm as possible on the sidelines.
Blew out his left knee last December 22nd. Back from ACL surgery on the knee. When he went down, he was averaging 16 a game, 7 rebounds, and is, as you can tell if you watch the Nets on a regular basis, struggling as he works his way back. And a foul on McGlure, non-shooting foul, but it's team foul number 4 on the Nets. 3 on McGlure.
And Marv, to take your point with Kristich also, you know, when you think about him averaging 16, not to say we'd be getting it, if you had a healthy Kristich getting 10 to 15 points in a game like this is where the Nets really miss front line scoring.
Oh, Davis, look at him with the spin. I'm sure Jefferson was thrilled to see him coming his way, and Pierce with the bucket, and he is fouled.
This is a team that is playing unselfish basketball. I think that's the biggest surprise up in Boston is, as you see Pierce go around right outside, and watch this finish on the reverse to avoid the block by Richard Jefferson. Paul Pierce leading away on that, way high upstairs on the glass with a little spin. But I think the big surprise from the people in Boston when you speak to them, I was talking to Mike Gorman, their play-by-play guy earlier tonight, how quickly it's come together for this team. I mean, he made it sound like, you know, they've been playing together for 3 years, and he's watched them for 5 games, and they do look like they've been playing together for a while.
Biggest lead of the night. The Celtics, who have been blowing just about everyone out, now up by 15. Here's Kidd for 3. And back comes Rondo. Josh Boone has checked in for the first time as Lawrence Frank continues to shuffle. Allen. Shot clock down to 6. Ray Allen. 18 points for Allen. 72-55 Celtics. The Nets 0 for 8 from the field here in the third. It's a 13-3 spurt for the Celtics.
Great recognition also there by Ray Allen, knowing that Boone was not going to jump out that quickly as a big.
Right passed on a three. And you can hear the reaction from the crowd as the Nets now have missed their last 9 shots. Allen sets it up for Davis. And Kidd's pass hits someone, and Wright was trying to take a timeout.
Oh, he should. Oh, I don't know about that much.
And they call it jump ball. That timeout was not recognized.
I thought he had possession. I thought he called timeout. The worst of this is it gets nice flick there by Garnett, but look who goes on top of him. Davis just comes barreling down on Wright. Unhappy with A, the fact that he didn't get the timeout, and B, that the big fella at 290 landed on him.
Well, with 4 minutes to play in this third quarter, the Nets have scored only 3 points in the quarter. Boston controls the tip. It's all Celtics from the second quarter on. Pierce with lots of room for 3. Another open shot. And you can hear the Celtic portion of the crowd react as the Nets take a timeout. The Nets are being blistered by the Celtics. 16-3 advantage for Boston in the third quarter with 3:51 to play. 20-point Boston lead. We have seen the best of the Celtic Big Three here tonight.
Celtics just closing up the middle of the floor.
Nice move by Carter as he was able to drive the middle that time.
Yeah, even with that though, Marv, you notice that 3 green shirts that time, Vince did not go directly to the rim. He had to kind of wiggle his way through. So that's one of the things the Celtics have done well in this third quarter, seaming up and closing in the middle.
Again, Pierce with room. Too many open shots for Paul Pierce and Ray Allen.
Well, what's happening though too is the fact that you try to help out your teammate, but these guys, the Celtics, are so good as the Nets toss it away just then with Garnett extending. The frustration by Lawrence Frank and company is that, you know, it was a good example of it. They leave Paul Pierce to slide into the middle of the floor. The Celtics are very unselfish, and next thing you know, they find one another, and well, you just got to stay straight up.
6 turnovers for the Nets committed here in the third. 6 of their 11 in the third with just under 3 to go. Third quarter. Pierce. Boone could not get to it.
Garnett took a pop in the left ear. He's been holding on to that for the last 20 seconds.
Here's Pierce with a step back. Rare to see him miss a shot the way things have been going. Wright. Met by Garnett, so he tossed it out. Nice pass from Carter, and Boone was fouled. Celtics do not allow any putbacks, layups, anything near the rim. Josh Boone will go to the line when we come back. Yes, it's the Nets and the Hornets with coverage starting 7 o'clock with the Infinity pregame. Nets and Hornets Monday night here on Yes. And Jim, the Nets now 1 of 10 from the field in this third quarter. They missed their first 9 shots. They have been outscored by Boston 19-5 in the third.
And the thing about it is that the Celtics are playing offensively very unselfishly, but the Nets struggling. Down deep, you see the Celtics closing in the middle of the floor. A little sloppy pass through the middle of the lane just then. And a game that was competitive at the half has turned into a easy one so far through the third. As you take a look at the numbers, 1 of 10 and the 6 turnovers doesn't add up to a good quarter, obviously.
Paul Pierce with 13 of his 23 points coming in the third quarter. So Pierce, the high man in the game. Kevin Garnett, 12 points, 10 rebounds. Ray Allen with 18. Richard Jefferson has cooled off. He leads the Nets, though, with 20. Vince Carter has 15. And Jason Kidd, 10 points. 7 assists. The Nets are now under 40% from the field, and they are having their problems at the foul line. They started strongly at the line, but now 17 of 23, most of the misses, late second and here in the third. Boone battling with Garnett, trying to front him.
Garnett's so long, and a little push off there by Garnett also.
Offensive foul, that's Garnett's second. Just under 2 to go in the third quarter. Here's Jefferson. And he felt he was fouled. He got the call. The late whistle call is on the rookie, Glenn Davis. That's 4 on Davis. So Jefferson back to the line. He's 10 of 11 at the line.
That's an example, too, Marv. The Nets do move the ball back and forth. A lot of people have been talking about Richard Jefferson's ability to get to the line. That's exactly why it occurs, is the fact that when it's swung over to him from power side to weak side, he can just catch an attack. And he's so quick and strong that the results are what he's doing now, getting to the free throw line.
For the Celtics, this is the first of 2 straight on the road. Tuesday night they play the Pacers at Conseco in Indianapolis. And then back home for the Nets on Wednesday. And apparently, at least to this point, the back-to-back has not affected the Celtics as they won at home decisively over the Hawks last night. Here's Rondo. Rajon Rondo played well. 6 points, 4 assists.
Yep. Anybody who's not the big 3 on the Celtics better get ready to shoot the basketball.
Oh, Carter puts it down, and he's hurt. He's holding his ankle. And a foul was called that stopped the clock. But Vince Carter, as you can see, in pain.
Yeah, we'll take a look. He goes up, uncontested there. And, did you see the right ankle just then when he landed, Marv? I don't know if you got the chance to see it in the middle of the screen just then. As he comes down, right there, the other shot had a good look at it. That one right there, you see him come up, grabbing it. And here's the one. Watch down below now as he lands. Right there, you'll see the foot right there turning over a bit as he comes down. And that's an awkward one too, Marv, coming down, because it wasn't, a lot of times players come down and they hit the floor and they roll over. And that was just an unnatural roll of the ankle too. So hopefully he's okay, because a lot of times those tendons do almost act like elastic bands, believe it or not. They're so stretched from playing that you can roll it and it comes right back like a stretched elastic band. And once again, coming down, watch the right foot slide out. Oh, you know what? It gets a piece of Pierce's foot. That's what I think caused it right there. That's a great shot, the last one.
Carter being helped off by Malik Allen and Jason Collins.
I didn't see that at first, Marv, when he came down. That's why I was looking at it and saying, guys don't usually roll their ankles like that when they go up. But if you notice on this one, let's take a look if we can see where he comes down at the very end. If you look closely with it, does he land on Paul Pierce's foot? Just a little bit he gets it, and that's enough to cause that unnatural roll of the ankle, because the foot should just go flat down at that point. It doesn't, and the rest of your weight just keeps going and forces the ankle to go in an awkward direction.
And the clock was stopped when Carter went down as Antoine Wright committed a foul that gave a foul. So the Nets are over the limit, as are the Celtics. And Vince being held back to the Nets locker room, trailed by athletic trainer Tim Walsh. Boston will go to the line with 1:19 left in this third quarter.
Ray Allen, 2 shots.
2 shots for Ray Allen. Allen 6 for 6 at the line. Mostan Nakbar has come on for Vince Carter. Celtics tonight without 2 of their key guys off the bench. James Posey out with lower back spasms, and Brian Scalabrine, who was injured last night in the game against Atlanta, suffering a concussion. He's actually taken off the floor via a stretcher. Kidd, yes, that's a 3-pointer for Jason Kidd.
This will be interesting to see how they react, too. Down 21 when Vince Carter left the floor. A big-time scorer. And now as a team, we'll see what kind of energy level they have if they can put that distraction of Vince's injury out of their minds.
Pierce working hard on right. Allen on that quick release. Lightning quick. That's a 3 for Allen. Nakbar from straight away and way off. Got glass.
That's one of those, Mark. As a shooter, you're fortunate when the glass is up there and it's just not the rim hanging up there on a pole in the old days, huh?
You'll take glass.
That's it.
20 seconds remaining in the third. Garnett with a nice pass. Here's Davis willing inside. He's impressive.
He is. I mean, he's a load. I mean, he's an offensive guard with the quick feet down deep, kind of slide his way around just then.
6 points, 7 rebounds for big baby Glenn Davis. Final seconds of the third. Here's Wright. Yes. They'll review it, but it appeared he got it off in time. So the Celtics with an 87-66 lead on the Nets. Boston outscores New Jersey 28-14 in the third. Back at the Izod Center, let's take a look at the Mercedes game summary. The Boston Big Three accounting for 58 points. The Net Big Three, 52. Richard Jefferson talked about this earlier. Said it's not going to be necessarily the Big Three of each club. It's the other guys, and that's been the case. The rest of the Celtics outscoring the rest of the Nets 29-14. Good games for Eddie House, Big Baby Davis. And the Nets have been beaten badly off the boards. Here's Nakbar, tried to go to the finger roll and draws the foul. It is on Davis. That's 5 on the rookie Glenn Davis. So fourth quarter is underway. At one stretch in the third, the Nets missed 9 straight shots. They shoot just 4 for 14 from the field in the third, while the Celtics 10 of 20. And they have taken this big lead, 87-66.
You may see Lawrence Frank start switching the defensive assignments a little bit here, pushing up a little bit. Maybe changing it up with the zone once in a while just to try to work his way back into this game. And I think Lawrence understands with the power that they have, the Celtics in scoring, it's going to be difficult.
At just 5 of 9 at the line in the second half. As Nakbar hits 1 of 2. The Celtics at 4-0. 3 of the 4 have been by blowouts. They come off a clobbering over Atlanta last night at home. They shot 61%. Shot clock to 7. Here is House for 3, hit 2 earlier. And Davis got the rebound. Nice pass for House. It counts on the foul. The push on Antoine Wright.
Boy, was that a beautiful exercise in Davis going after the basketball of the offensive glass. You just can't keep him off. I mean, he's so big and powerful. He rides Boone out of it. Now watch a little skip pass. Nice strong cut, too, by Eddie House just then to finish that off. And 31 field goals for the Celtics tonight with 23 assists.
Very impressive.
Yes.
And that was a second assist for Davis, who has done it in every facet. 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. Here's Wright. Look out. And the foul is called as Lawrence Frank has made changes here in the fourth quarter. Sean Williams, the rookie of Boston College, getting some time. Came out at the start of the fourth. And he will go to the line. Sean Williams, first round pick, but dropped to number 17 after being dismissed from Boston College team midway through his junior season after repeatedly violating team policy. He's a shot blocker and a leaper.
And Lawrence Frank going full court a little bit to try to rattle the Celtics a touch. To this point in the second half, it really has not mattered. They're really on automatic pilot the way the Celtics are passing the basketball.
Allen. And here is Armstrong. Knockbar. Pounding it, getting inside, that'll count, and a foul. Celtics looking for a travel, but Knockbar will go to the line.
One of the things they're trying to do, the Nets, try to force the action underneath. Knockbar knew that exactly. Nice little spin move. And take a look. Here comes the spin, and right out there. And, one of the things, Davis comes right up the back of him again, and I think Davis is through now, isn't he?
That's number 6, as Davis is greeted enthusiastically at the Celtic bench. So Davis, 17 minutes, 6 points, 8 rebounds.
And maybe just trying to do a little bit too much in defense and helping his guys, teammates out. He'll learn how to taper it and come back a little bit, because that'll keep him on the floor. The fouls won't.
They double up on Allen. Leads to the turnover. Jefferson for Knockbar. Taking to the rim and hands it off. Right from Knockbar.
Good decision right there, because Knockbar was in no position from an angle standpoint to get the legs underneath him to challenge Kevin Garnett. So a nice little layback. You take a look at him. He just never has the strength in the leg right there to go up and challenge, but good move by the Nets. They're trying to creep back.
$36 with the Nets McDonald's plans. You get 2 tickets for the price of 1. Get yours today online at njnets.com or call the Nets at 1-800-3-GO-NETS. 1-800-3-GO-NETS. Nets with a 7-0 run, but down by 16 with 2 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter. We've been talking earlier about the success of Boston's sports teams. You got the Red Sox winning the World Series. Patriots were off this weekend, 9-0, best record in the NFL. Celtics, best start since back in 87, 88. Boston College
football team is having a nice year, too.
The last time the Celtics were 5-0 was 87. And they've done it only 3 times in the 40-year history of the franchise. Picked off by Knockbar, should say in the last 40 years of the franchise. They've managed 5-0 starts just 3 times. Knockbar. And Knockbar's shot has been off once again.
And unfortunate right there, too, because with the Nets down 16, they were getting a little bit of momentum. Let's see the scorers take over now.
Nice pass. Pierce setting it up for Garnett. And you were talking earlier about the unselfish play between the the three-star Celtic players.
And that was a good example of it again, Marv. The fact that Pierce recognized that double teams were coming at him. He wasn't thinking of scoring. He was thinking of passing at that point.
Jefferson. And he's been off in the second half. That is deflected out. Last touch by the Nets.
Yeah, I think the ball deflected up on the back of the backboard, actually.
And that is out of bounds, so Boston will get it back. And Lawrence Frank will send on Jason Kidd in just a moment. A touch foul charged to Darrell Armstrong. Here comes Kidd, replacing Jefferson, who is not happy about heading to the bench. Richard with just 2 of his 22 in the second half.
Well, I think what Lawrence Frank is hoping for, Marv, is 2 minutes of good basketball by the Nets to maybe squeeze this lead down a little bit and then get Jefferson back in.
Here's Pierce popping it out. House angling for the shot and does not get the roll. Rebounded by Wright.
Well, I'm not sure how Garnett didn't come down with that rebound. He usually snatches those.
Armstrong and Kidd in the backcourt now with Nakbar, Williams, and Wright up front. And Williams could not handle it. Here's Rondo with the skip pass, and Allen misses the layup.
Beautiful look by Rondo on the break just then. There's a good one also.
Nakbar rejected by Garnett. Here's Sean Williams banking it home.
Well, where'd that one come from? I don't even think he kind of had a real good sense of where the backboard was on that, but a terrific bank.
Here's Pierce. Oh, he tried to put it up for Garnett, and Garnett was pushed. Garnett was shaken up on that play.
Take a look at Kidd. He's going to go right there across the middle. Beautiful look. And then Williams, watch him follow up here and just kind of shoots and turns before he really seems to get a good look at the basket.
Foul committed by Wright. Not allowing Garnett to take that lead pass. And now Garnett is being guarded by the rookie Sean Williams. As they battle and a foul. It is on Williams. Lawrence Frank shuffling things, and he put Jefferson back on the floor. So a brief rest for Richard.
Sean Williams with his work cut out for him. Oh, he may have gotten a call, though, with Garnett.
And that waves the basket off. Pierce hitting from downtown is disallowed.
Offensive foul number 5, Kevin Garnett.
That's 3 on Garnett.
You get the sense that Williams, Sean that is not going to back down much, Marv. He's young, but he's going to go after him. Uh-oh.
Here's the lead, and Sean Williams was able to put the lob down. The Nets are trying to hustle their way back in. They've certainly raised the intensity at the defensive end. Armstrong poked it away.
It's going to be close to an 8-second call, is it?
And it is an 8-second violation. They do not get it across. Oh, no, wait a moment. Perhaps a timeout was called. Yes, Doc Rivers gets the call. Joe DeRosa indicating timeout taken by Boston. So they preserved the possession.
They did. It was close, though.
An 11-2 run by the Nets, cutting into that Celtic lead. Tri-State Ford presents tonight's key matchup. You can take your pick tonight with the matchup that you'd like to look at. Well, Paul Pierce had the hot hand in the second half, 8 of 17 overall, 3 from downtown. Richard Jefferson on fire in the first half, but has cooled off in the second half, and Richard continues to do it at the foul line. Late third quarter, Vince Carter went down after completing this stuff. And you can see holding the right ankle, and Jim, we're told it is a sprained right ankle, x-rays negative. No word as to whether he will be able to return. They have a second to get the ball into the front court, bailed out by that timeout. And Allen gets it across. And traps Rondo. Nets wanted to travel. Allen is open and hits for 3.
Watch the way they spread the court, but you have to give Rondo, the young player, some credit on that one, because that was a pretty good seal at half court just then in terms of a double team, and he worked his way free.
Akbar passing on the 3. He's been off, so he was hesitant to take the shot. Kidd does, and comes up with air.
Baseball time.
Whoa. Look out, Rondo and Armstrong in the collision. Armstrong came away with it. Armstrong for 3, and he is fouled by House, so that'll be 3 free throws for Darrell Armstrong. Doc Rivers is upset with Eddie House. I love when coaches point to their forehead.
Eddie House indicating to Doc Rivers that Armstrong grabbed him as he went by.
Right.
Well, let's take a look. Let's see if Armstrong grabs him or not. Here's the shot. Here comes House. You know, he may have a little bit to do with him. That's not a bad move by Armstrong.
Darrell hits first 2.
I've always thought that that's not really the ultimate in confidence, Marv, when you're shooting the ball, and as you're getting ready to shoot it, you're planning your next attack. The grab down.
Nets now down by 14. They trailed by as many as 23. The 11-2 run got them back into it. Just under 6.5 left in the 4th. Here's Rondo. His pass off the mark, but it's saved by House. Shot clock to 4. Allen for 3.
Whoa.
And that was mistimed by a couple of Nets.
It sure was.
And fortunately for the Nets, Sean Williams came up with it.
There's an air ball on the rebound.
Jefferson. And rebounded by House. Jefferson in the second half 0 for 5. House comes up short. The save. Good play. Last touch by Garnett. Good play by Sean Williams, who's done a terrific job since coming on in the 4th quarter.
The Net fans who really haven't seen him play much, activity is probably the word. You know, he's so active offensively and defensively. At the offensive end, will need to work on his skills, but defensively, he can run around, block shots, very aggressive.
Jefferson trying to shoot his way back. It's a 12-point Celtic lead. And here's Rondo. It's rejected by Nakbar.
Good pull out by Armstrong.
Kidd wide open.
Sure. Oh, here he is. I was looking for Doc Rivers. Whoa!
And a timeout as Armstrong was tripped up inadvertently, I believe, by Rondo. Timeout, Celtics, and Armstrong is upset.
Yeah, once again, officials saying that the coach called the timeout. He bangs into him before he blows the whistle, I thought. Lawrence Frank right next to him. You can't see him. Reacted the same exact way, so both of them were in sync with their reaction.
So the Celtics, with 1 full timeout remaining, the Nets have 2. It's a 12-point Boston lead. Stay tuned. Right after the Nets and Celtics, it's the GMC postgame with Nancy Newman. Recap of all the key moments, highlights from around the NBA, and Michelle Vito will have interviews from inside the locker room. The GMC postgame right here on Yes. 5 minutes, 9 seconds left in the 4th. Boston is led by as many as 23. They now lead by 12. Good play by Armstrong. Lawrence Frank staying with this lineup. He has Armstrong and Kidd. And up front, Jefferson with Nakbar and the rookie Sean Williams.
I will say this, Marv, this net team right now has a little bit of confidence and belief that they can chip away even further.
Garnett facing the double. Pierce for three. How many open shots have we seen here tonight for Paul Pierce?
Well, that's going to be part of their offense in terms of putting the ball on the floor there with Garnett on one side and Pierce will stay, forcing his man to help out. It's all part of the design.
Kidd. Good hustle rebound by Kidd, who fires it out. Kidd for Williams. And knocked out of bounds. Last touched by Garnett.
That was an alley-oop that hit the backboard. Williams didn't recognize that it was being a lob to him. And here's that double team. Once they react, Kevin Garnett very, very good at passing out of the post. Boy, Pierce is just playing kind of around the world.
Around the world. little retro reference. Very good.
Way back.
Jefferson, yes, so he's hit his last two after missing 5 in a row. 98-85, Boston. Celtics trying to make it 5-0. For the first time since back in '87. Garnett rebounded by Wright.
Still have to hurry, but a little patience.
Williams, nice move. Sean Williams again. He's hit 3 of 4 for 8 points, along with 4 rebounds in 7 minutes of play.
And against the big unit, too, to boot. Whoa.
Oh. And the foul is called. 20-8 run by the Nets. Foul on Williams.
Look at the position he gets in. What does he do? He rolls right away from it. A sweet touch off the glass by the right-handed shooter, Sean Williams.
So Garnett to the line. Did you just change Kevin Garnett's nickname to the big unit?
I thought this was Randy Johnson out there.
You got excited?
I did. No, I was calling Sean Williams the big unit.
Oh, I see. Of course.
Bailing out on you here, right?
Garnett 4 for 4 at the line. 15 points, 13 rebounds for Garnett. Leads the NBA, averaging 16 rebounds per game. 3.5 to play in the fourth. And the Celtics have done the job at the line. They're 22 of 25. Nets without Vince Carter went down with the sprained ankle late third quarter. Another net turnover. Here's Rondo. Rejected by Armstrong. Rondo got back quickly. Nets were not allowed to break. Here's Jefferson off the double. He lost it. And it'll be Celtic ball.
Yeah, it's going to be Williams coming in trying to get the ball back, but he ended up fouling.
So the foul on Williams is second. Timeout is taken.
And take a look at Armstrong going after it. That's a great hustle play to come back and save a bucket.
Tonight, following the postgame right here on Yes, stay tuned for This Week in Football, which includes a preview of tomorrow's NFC East matchup. It's the Giants and the Cowboys. We'll catch This Week in Football tonight after the postgame on Yes. Just under 3 left in the fourth quarter. Nets making a run here in the fourth after a brutal third quarter, but they come back. They cut into that Celtic lead. Boston had led by as many as 23. It's now a 13-point advantage. As the Nets look ahead to face the Hornets here on Monday in a stretch, playing 8 of the first 10 at home, to be followed by that 4-game West Coast trip.
Eddie House, 2 shots.
And Eddie House has hurt his former team tonight. It's 12 points for House. Eddie has many former teams. In fact, the Celtics, his 7th team in 8 years out of Arizona State. But he fits in very well with this club.
This is paradise for Eddie House here. This is a good place to be.
Armstrong for 3. And he's done a nice job. Darryl off the bench with 7 points. 102-90. Armstrong hounding Rondo and is called for the foul. Boston is 10 for 10 at the line in this second half. That's over the foul limit. So again, the Celtics to the line. Rajon Rondo at the line for the first time. First round draft pick last season, taken by the Phoenix Suns, and then his rights traded to the Celtics. And Doc Rivers loves his passion. Rajon plays with lots of heart.
And one of the most important parts of this Celtics season may very well be Rondo. The way he handles Doc Rivers' team and his decision making. You know, he's so fast that he may be one of these players that has to kind of tone it down a bit.
And Jason Kidd able to drill it. How about your second season out of Kentucky? He left after his sophomore year. He's only 21 years old. And here he is playing with not only Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen. And a little pressure on him too, but he's handled it. Pierce backs, gets it away. And it's Rondo with the follow.
That ball hung on the rim for an extra bounce, Marvin. That's what really allowed him to have an opportunity. Richard Jefferson mistimed that one.
Armstrong, yes. Wow. A 3 for Armstrong. And the Boston lead down to 10, just under 2 to go in this fourth quarter. Rondo blocked by Jefferson.
Never got there. He was looking for a goaltending. Great play by Jefferson to keep the Nets alive.
And here's John Williams from Jason Kidd. It's an 8-point Celtic lead.
He's like Gumby and Elastic Man all in one there. He's got
the closest this game has been since the half. 30 to 15 spurt looking by the Nets.
The problem is you got good free throw shooters with the big 3, and Eddie House is another guy who can shoot them.
There's Allen with 1 on the shot clock, and it'll be Nets ball with 1:16 left in the fourth quarter, and the lead down to 8. The Nets call for time. Doc Rivers in a chat with his point guard.
You take a look at Sean Williams, Jason Kidd putting it right on the money. Watch how he finishes it. Almost falling down a bit.
Well, the Nets trimming the Boston lead to 8 coming up. Following the Nets and the Celtics, the GMC postgame with Nancy Newman. We'll have all the highlights from the Nets and the Celtics and a look around the NBA, the GMC postgame. Right here on Yes. Boston with a full, Nets with a 20, with 1:17 to go in this fourth quarter. Nets looking for a quick shot here. Jefferson. Kidd out on a switch by Garnett. Challenges it. Williams could not get to it. With 1 minute left.
Double teams and maybe a foul.
And now the foul is given with the Nets over the limit. As you mentioned, though, the Celtics, very good free throw shooting team. So Pierce at the line. He has 26 points, 4 of 6 at the line. Celtics 11 for 12 at the foul line in the second half.
Now, if you're the Celtics right now, obviously you want Pierce to hit the 2, but the Nets are hoping for a split at least.
An outstanding game for Paul Pierce, including 4 from downtown. Celtics 10 of 19 from three-point land. Pierce connects on both. Pressure here by the Celtics. Handled by Armstrong. And a foul is called. Foul is on House, so the Celtics are over the limit.
House not paying attention to where Jason Kidd was. He just ran right over him.
Down to 47 seconds to play in the fourth quarter. Kidd is 4 for 4 at the line. So the Nets now trail 107-98. 32 points in the fourth for the Nets. That's their highest scoring quarter of the season, but they let this one get away in the third quarter, with the Celtics jumping in front by as many as 23 points. And Kidd gets the foul. That'll put Garnett at the line.
Nets are doing everything they can possibly do at this point. Down the 8 points with less than a minute left. They just have to go for initial steal and then the foul.
Quick huddle here by Lawrence Frank and Jack Neese, indicating you can't do that. They have one timeout remaining, so Lawrence huddling up at center court.
Lawrence wants to hang on to that timeout too, just in case.
Kevin Garnett is saying, what's going on here? I was set to shoot the free throw, and he's correct.
A little bit of a freeze, but he needs one of his guys, Rondo, to get on the line with Ray Allen.
He's 6 of 6 at the foul line.
That's what the rim's up there for, I guess.
Is that it? I see.
You use every piece of it sometimes. Good backspin on their shot, though, will force that ball to go that way if it hits front iron.
109-99. Jefferson made the turn, and he draws the foul. So Jefferson to the free throw line. Foul on Rondo. Jefferson is 12 for 13 at the line, and Hoskan Nakbar being sent back in. Will following the shot by Jefferson. He was racing out of the court, but that would be 6 on 5. And now he's being waved on.
I guess you don't pull the goalie in this sport, do you? Close my hockey reference for the night.
Hockey mania tonight for you, Jim. Sean Williams. Here's the applause. Played well. 10 minutes. 4 or 5 from the field. 10 points. 4 rebounds. Armstrong could not get to it. Nearly picked it off, and then Rondo puts it down. It is a 10-point Celtic lead. Here's Kidd with a quick 3. So the Boston Celtics will make it a record of 5-0. Foul is given with 19 seconds to play.
I think that foul was given, Marv, so Armstrong could get himself off the floor. He seems to have something wrong with his hip or thereabouts.
This turns out to be a tough night physically for the Nets. Vince Carter leaving late third quarter, spraining his right ankle. And as you see, Darrell Armstrong in pain. Ray Allen, 9 for 9 at the line. This is how it happened right here. Darrell went flying into the stands. Kidd on the run. 15 seconds to play. Jefferson for 3. And that will do it. The Celtics 112, the Nets 101. in this first meeting of the season. They'll play again in Boston next Wednesday night. The Nets drop to 4-2 as the Celtics poured it on in the third quarter to come away with the win. Nets with the spurt down the stretch. An 11-2 run got them back into it. But in the third quarter, the Celtics outscored the Nets 28-14. And as a result, led by as many as 23. Let's go to Michelle with Ray Allen of the Celtics.
Thanks, Marv. Ray, everyone's got to know, how is it that you guys were able to gel so quickly this early in the season?
I don't think we've gelled so quickly just up to this point yet. We're having a good time playing basketball, and we're still learning a lot of things about ourselves. So we're just respecting the game, and we're making the right plays out there on the floor.
With everything back-to-back second night, Coach going through what he had to go through today, did that play at all in your minds coming into the game?
Not really. I think excuse me, we have some pretty experienced guys out there on the floor. We know how every night when we get in this building how we have to prepare. So, it's a game out here to be played. Everybody has to go through back-to-back to the NBA and adversity, and we just respond to it.
As much as the new look Celtics look completely different to everybody, is it more important when you guys come into the Nets building? Do you treat it as a different game at all?
I would like to think that I don't myself. I don't know. I don't have the history that these two teams have had in the past. I just know every game, there's no picture about the wins and losses in this league, so you got to come out here and you got to play your best basketball every night.
All right, Ray, good job. Thank you. Marv, back to you.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Ray Allen, 27 points, 7 of 17 from the field. Also had 10 rebounds, as Michelle made reference to Doc Rivers, who attended the funeral of his dad earlier in the day in Chicago, then took a charter back to the New York, New Jersey area and was able to make the game by about a half hour. So Doc Rivers Celtics defeat the Nets 112-101. We'll be back in a moment.